What's up, barbecue family? This is Kenyatta Robinson, and welcome to the brand new Backyard SmokeMaster BBQ channel podcast. So, this is something new that I'm trying to do. Hopefully, I'll be able to go live with a podcast every week. So, for my very first guest, I have none other than my favorite person, no one that I would rather start my podcast off with, my lovely wife, Jeannine, who's agreed to join me for this initial episode. And hopefully, she'll like it enough and maybe she'll come back and do a few more with me in the future. So, how you doing, Jeannine?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. A little nervous.
Remember, you
Oh,
gotta.
sorry. A little
So
nervous.
we're working out the kinks. This is her first time being on camera. Some of you may have seen her in some of my videos making cameo appearances, tasting the barbecue, but this is the first time for her going live. I've only done a few lives myself, so we're trying to work out the kinks, so don't judge us too harshly, but we're going to go with the flow. So for this initial podcast, I don't have a set agenda. I really just wanted to make this interactive. So I asked Jeannine to write down some questions, just ask me some things that she thinks maybe you guys would like to hear. And then also, already getting some comments coming in. I really do appreciate that. Already see comments from Paul, the outdoor movie guy. He's got a YouTube channel. Thanks, Paul. Got a few comments here from my name is irrelevant. Now, I'm not quite sure whose handle that is, but I see your comments. Jeff, thanks for joining and mentioning that the videos have got you wanting to get a Weber Summit Kamado. Let me see if I can get that on the screen. I got to work on that on the background. That might
Oh,
be a
yeah.
little bit hard to read.
I think it might be.
We'll see if we can fix that. Um, so yeah, we got Ricardo coming in from Florida. I see a relative. I see my cousin Angel has joined us. Hi, Angel. Hope you're doing well. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's quite a few, though, more than I thought.
Yeah, really do appreciate it. Also, long time longtime supporter, Steinborn Bruce. Bruce is joining us here from Florida. Appreciate that. So great to see all you guys. So please keep the comments coming
Yeah.
in. I'm going to turn it over to Jeannine. Let her start asking me some questions. And if you guys think of any things that you would like to ask, feel free to add them to the comments. And let's get it started. So, Jeannine, what do you have for me?
Well, so as I was sort of racking my brain, I was trying to just think of a few basic questions. But honestly, one of the things that I can't remember is like when it feels like you've been in the backyard for forever. It feels like my backyard is full of many, many, many toys, smokers, grills, flat tops, you name it. So my question to you is, how long has it really been since when did you really start getting into this? Because I feel like it's been forever, but I don't know that it has been.
Oh, wow. No, it hasn't been forever. I would say that I probably got really serious about barbecue. I want to say it's probably been maybe 6 years ago. I'm thinking like
Oh,
2016,
okay.
somewhere in that period, 2015, 2016. I started off. I got a Weber Smoky Mountain. So actually, that was the first that I bought myself. It was on Father's Day, and I don't know. I just decided, I've been listening to your dad,
Yeah.
your dad Harvey, always talking about
Oh,
barbecue,
yes.
and just listening to him, especially talking about making ribs,
Yeah.
and smoking them and talking about smoking them for like 6 and 7 hours
Yeah.
and and his ribs were fantastic. They
They really
were
were.
fall off the
They
bone,
were delicious.
that type, real tender,
Yeah.
um, great flavor. And I just, I was like, he talks about it with such passion
Yeah.
that it made me want to get involved. So I bought myself a Weber Smoky Mountain. Had no clue, no concept about temperature control. So it was very rough going at first with the Weber Smoky Mountain, but it did kind of teach me like the basic concepts of controlling the temperature by controlling how much oxygen is coming into your smoker. Um, Now I admit, the Smoky Mountain, it can be a little finicky. I know there are a lot of guys out there that swear by it, but for me as a newbie in barbecue, it became a little bit overwhelming. So then I actually ended up eventually selling the Smoky
Yes, I
Mountain
remember that.
down the road. But
I think I was happy you did.
yeah, I just wasn't putting out much good food and
No.
just having a lot of frustrations with it. But it did, like I said, it kind of got those concepts in my head about, trying to manage the temperature and how that was really key. And then from there, I got a gas grill.
Oh yeah.
And then I bought a pellet smoker. It was a Traeger that I got. Um, it was a hardware store was going out of business, so it was deeply discounted.
Right.
I saw it and I was like, I'm not going to pass
I
this
remember
up. So I bought the Traeger.
Yeah, I remember.
It was I think it was called the something Junior, the Traeger Traveler Junior. I might not have the name of it correct, but it was before like the new generation of Traeger, and they're making much better pellet grills.
Right.
This one that I bought also had a lot of issues, wild temperature fluctuations, lots of burnout with the fire pot. I had some really interesting experiences with that Traeger. But when I really, really got serious, it was when I decided that I wanted to try my hand with a stick burner.
Oh, that's right.
So saved up to buy a Lone Star Grillz, and I got the 20 by 42 offset smoker. And that's when I really, really got serious about barbecue, and it also coincided with the start of the YouTube channel because I had Erin with me, our daughter Erin, and I asked her to just film.
Yeah.
We were filming the delivery, excuse me, the delivery of the smoker, and I think the guy that was, the delivery guy, I think he must have been kind of new
Yeah.
because when he was bringing that smoker off of the trailer, off of the back of that truck, it was swaying from side to side, wobbling,
Yeah.
and I went over there like as if I was going to be able to keep it from crashing down. But my goodness, I had waited so long for this thing to be built and to be delivered.
Yeah.
I wasn't just going to stand idly by and watch it come crashing down. Fortunately, it didn't, but we do have video of it kind of swaying from side to side. And just on a whim, I decided to post that clip on YouTube. And then I started getting a lot of questions. There was a lot of interest. It was, I think I was amongst maybe the first 15 or 20 people to get the LSG's 20-inch offset smokers.
Yeah.
Because they already had a great reputation. But what was cool about the 20-inch is that it was a redesign and it has more of a like a rectangular shape than the traditional pipe barrel. So it allows them to manufacture them at a much more affordable cost. And I think that's what was really attractive. And I know that was what attracted me to it.
But are you still like in love with the offset smoker?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I think I saw someone ask, like, what is
Grill to
my
use.
favorite grill to use?
Yes.
Let's see, where is that?
That's coming up. Yep, there it is, Jeff. Jeff Dayton.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeff asked what is my favorite grill to use.
Yeah.
So even today, my favorite smoker out of all of them that I have to use today is my is the LSG offset smoker.
Yeah.
It's still the most challenging. I think just by their nature, stick burners are more challenging to use, because, every piece of wood, every split that you put in there is going to burn differently. And it does require that you really have to, it's not a set it and forget it experience. You have to manage it.
And be attentive.
You have to be attentive. If you walk away too long, your coals might die out, and you might, it's just, you just have to really manage it. So definitely it's the highest risk, but it's also the biggest reward when you do nail it and you get it, you get that, you're managing that fire the way you need to. So that's still my favorite to cook on. But I think the one that I probably use the most would be the Weber Summit Kamado.
Okay.
It's the most versatile. You can cook hot and fast. You can cook low and slow. It can basically do anything. You can set it up to cook, however you want. And so that would be like my go-to, in a pinch, would be the Summit Kamado. But then I also enjoy cooking on my Mac pellet grill. It's also very versatile. If I want the easiest experience, or I mean, it is set it and forget it.
Well, I've seen you set it up and then go to bed. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. Is he like really mean? Does he mean to do that? Or did he just like fall out and I need to wake him up? So I've literally seen you do that with that one. So I was kind of like, oh, okay. I guess this is how it works.
Right. Right. I mean, it is literally, I mean, that's the advantage of pellet grills is that, especially the ones that they're making now, you can, just punch in the temperature that you want.
Yeah.
It's going to be
convenient.
able to keep that temperature. Like if you set it for 250, a good pellet grill will probably keep that temperature between 240 and 260 throughout the cook. It'll level out and average out at about 250. But that's the advantage, and you don't have to do anything except for make sure that your hopper has enough pellets in it. So it's truly set it and forget it.
So we had a comment about what was your worst cook ever. Do you remember? I mean, I try to forget them, but you may have something burned in your memory that I don't know about.
That's hard to think of one that stands out because there have been many. I've been disappointed many times.
Yeah, and you're not afraid to share that, which I appreciate that you're very like genuine with your successes and with your failures.
Well, yeah, the way that what I try to do and what I try to take away from every cook is, you learn something new every time.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are good, but
Yeah.
especially the ones that are bad.
Yeah.
Something might happen where,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe if I'm cooking with the stick burner, and knowing in my head that I, just kind of have that internal clock that I'm gonna need to that wood is probably gonna need a new split in about 45 minutes, and then maybe I let myself get distracted and come back, let it go for like an hour and 5-10 minutes, and
It makes a difference.
it makes a huge difference. And that turns a cook that you think is only going to take maybe 4 hours ends up becoming more like a 6 or 7 hour cook. And, you and Aaron are like, okay, when is the food coming? Is it ready yet?
Yeah.
Should we just order something?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that kind of stand out as being amongst the worst. And sorry, I can't think of any one particular, but it does happen quite a bit. But I mean, you just have to keep at it and not let it discourage you. Just learn what you can and try not to repeat, the same mistakes.
I will say though, there are times when the I felt like the cook went perfectly, but because you always are trying to test things, sometimes it's like I'll have tried it one way and then you'll try a different rub and then it'll have like a totally different taste to it. So I wouldn't say it was a worse thing, but I think you're always trying to test out like so many rubs, so many different ways to cook something that I think sometimes it's hard for me to keep track of like which one I like the most. I can remember some of the ones I didn't like as well, but I still think there's something about testing things and trying to keep it fresh that I think is really good for everyone to kind of glom onto because I think it makes you a better cook.
Yeah, I'll admit that I have been guilty of trying too many
Here's
rubs.
a closet full of rubs.
Yeah,
You should tell the truth.
I
It's a
still have,
closet.
I have a lot of
Yeah,
rubs that I've had for a while now that I still haven't even cracked open.
pretty much.
Um, yeah, if I see something that looks good or if I see a recipe that looks interesting and they're trying, you're using a rub that I haven't tried yet, I admit that I'm that guy. I'm
Yeah.
that guy that will, try and get that rub and think that I'm going to do something with it down the road. But lately, I think over the last year, I have finally started to toss out some rubs um, that I did try, one time, and it
Nah.
didn't work out. So I'm trying to do better about that, about not being too rub crazy.
Well, which are your favorites in terms of rubs?
Ooh, that's a good question. So definitely the rubs from Killer Hogs,
Hmm.
Malcolm Reed's
For sure.
How to Barbecue Right.
Yeah.
The barbecue rub has been a long time staple. I also like his all-purpose rub, although it can be a little salty.
Yeah.
So I do try to go light with it. Lately, I've really been enjoying the rubs from Meat Church.
Yeah.
He's got quite a few that I think go great with a lot of different things.
Agree.
Um, I've also really enjoyed. I think I'm blanking on the name of it. It's a sweet and savory rub that I've used in a few videos with ribs.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can get back to it.
Yeah, I can't remember who makes it though. But yeah, definitely. I think Meat Church and Killer Hogs.
My
They're
favorites.
they're very dependable.
So we have a question regarding the reverse flow, and there was a question about your opinion on it. Is there an advantage?
Okay. Um, let's see. So the LSG, the 20-inch offset smoker, they describe it as a cross flow in that the oxygen goes across the lower rack from right to left,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes up and then goes left to right on the upper rack. So they describe that as a cross flow. Um, it's kind of not quite reverse flow. I don't have direct experience with a reverse flow like the Meadow Creek. I did consider. I also considered smokers made by. Wow, now I can't think of the name. Lang. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
about Lang as well. Unfortunately, when I called them, I didn't have the greatest experience on the phone with
So their
them.
customer service or sales was bad?
Well, I don't want to say I don't want to say that. It was just one call,
Mm.
but I didn't get a warm and fuzzy feeling after speaking to the person that I did. And at the time, um, on Amazing Ribs, their forum, I think I had
Oh, that's
put an
right.
inquiry out about stick burners,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people were suggesting to me that I look into Lone Star Grills.
And weren't there a lot of people? They were outside of California, so these were people like in other states who had tried them, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That forum is, it's open to anyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, a lot of people were really talking about Lone Star Grills. So I took a harder look at them, and the few times I have had to reach out to them or interact with them,
Yeah.
customer service has always been
It's been top
top
notch.
notch.
Yeah.
They're very responsive, so
Yeah.
I was really happy with them. But so no, I'm sorry, Bruce. I don't want to say. I can't really say whether one has advantages over the other, um, but I do. I think they're both. I mean, I know that there are a lot of great reverse flow
Mm.
smokers out there, so I wouldn't hesitate to consider a reverse flow smoker as well. Maybe in my future, I'll be able to do that.
See, it's funny. I thought of a question that was sort of like, what is the future going to bring for you? And I didn't think it was going to bring more equipment, but that would be interesting to kind of do some research to see if there's something else out there that you've yet to try.
I mean, yeah, yeah, I would love if I had unlimited
Yeah.
resources. I would definitely be interested in like a Shirley.
Ooh.
They make great smokers. I'd love to get one of those.
Yeah.
Um, Aaron Franklin recently came out with his offset smoker, which is wildly expensive but looks pretty interesting.
Like, give us an idea. Like, what is wildly expensive? Is it like $5,000?
I think I don't know exactly. I
Mm.
don't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say it's probably at least three, maybe 4,000. Plus, you have to factor in the shipping costs
Yes. And the
on an
delivery.
offset.
Yeah.
Lone Star Grills also has come out with a pellet smoker,
Oh.
and it has fireboard technology built into it. That looks really interesting. I mean, I'm really happy with my Mac 1 star, so I don't need another pellet smoker, but I wouldn't mind being able to test drive LSGs. Of course, Weber came out with their pellet smoker. It
Uh-huh.
had a very controversial
Wasn't it catching on fire?
beginning.
Was that
The
the one?
smoke fire, yeah.
Yeah.
There were some videos of
That was
guys,
horrid.
with smoke fire,
Yeah.
with fires and other
Yeah.
things. But it seems like they've worked out those early issues. So
Sure.
I have to admit, I'm always, at the so-called end of the barbecue season, I will go by a few hardware stores to see if somebody has a closeout deal on a smoke fire. So if I do see one, it might show up in our backyard.
Yeah. It just might. I also have noticed that lately you've been trying to source different woods, and is a hit or miss here in California. I don't know how it is like in Florida, and some of the other states might be easier to get certain types of wood.
So yeah, the wood availability of wood is
It's
very
tough.
much it's very dependent on the part of the country that you live in.
Yeah.
So I think in Texas, I think oak and mesquite, I think are huge in Texas. I think if you're in like South Carolina, hickory is plentiful.
Yeah. Pelican.
Um, Here in California, I think we get a lot of oak, and then almond
Yeah.
also is pretty easy to get as
But
well.
is it flavorful? Because I mean, even though it's pretty easy to get, is it? Does it have a good punch to it, or you can actually tell that flavor when you're smoking?
Yeah, you mean the almond?
Yeah, almond.
Um, I've tried it. Wasn't completely sold on it.
Yeah.
But what I've read is a lot of people do compare it to pecan.
Okay.
But I would rather just have pecan.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But basically, you adapt to what's available to you.
Very true. So we have a question about bacon, and actually, it's near and dear to my heart too. So for the person whose my name is irrelevant, it's important to me that he keeps the bacon tradition alive, and the whole he went through that whole process of curing it, and that was really new for when did you start that, last year?
I think I did that video probably like maybe three months ago,
Okay.
not too long
Yeah,
ago.
like December-ish, right?
Yeah,
It was
yeah, and
delicious.
that was my first time
Yeah.
trying that. Um,
Yeah,
I
two thumbs up.
I thought it turned out great.
It was
It was
delicious. It was
outstanding.
beyond delicious.
Yeah, so um, yeah, my name is irrelevant is asking how much better is homemade bacon than store bought.
Oh, way better, my
Um,
opinion.
Yeah, I would have to
So
agree
good.
because
So good.
basically you have control. Like
Yeah.
you know what it's being cooked with and
Yep.
how it's being cured.
Yeah.
And maybe there's certain spices that you want to use in the curing process.
Absolutely.
And then when it comes time to actually smoke it, you can choose the wood flavor that you're using to smoke it. So I think all of those are huge advantages as well. And I mean, even Jeannine thinks that
Oh,
it
yeah,
turned
so
out
good.
to be
So good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
When you go to slice it, you can slice it as thin or as thick as you want.
Well, he came
Um,
home with all kinds of equipment, and I couldn't figure out what this equipment was supposed to support. And then he said, "Well, I'm going to be curing my own bacon, and I need to be able to slice it." And I thought, "Oh, okay," but it worked out very well. I'm so thrilled.
yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah.
If you just have to be patient,
Yeah.
and just follow the process. But I think it's well worth the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we have a fan who likes a pecan as their wood. I really wish we could find it and get it. I feel like the places we've been sourcing just don't have it.
Yeah, pecan is hard to get.
Yeah.
We're in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
and it is yeah, it's kind of hard to get unless I'm ordering it like online,
It's going to cost a
which
lot
is
of
more
money.
expensive.
Really.
So
Yeah.
I think in a perfect world, I would love to have oak, hickory, pecan, and cherry.
Yeah.
I think those are my four favorites. And where we live, I'm able to get the oak.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can get the cherry.
Right. And you can always get hickory. That seems like that's
It,
available.
somewhat.
Yeah.
It's easy to buy it at the store,
Right.
but and that can be a little pricey as
Yeah.
well. But the pecan is that one's hard to get.
Agree. So Angel's asking, how often are you making bacon? I think Angel wants you to deliver some to her house.
So basically, what I did, Angel, is I bought like a pork belly.
Yeah.
I bought one. I can't remember. It was either from Costco or from Sam's Club.
Yeah.
So it was a
Slab.
huge slab of bacon.
Hmm.
And from that, I mean, what I did after I smoked it and everything, I put them in.
A brine.
Well, no, not Ziploc bags, but I did the like I vacuum sealed them,
Yeah.
and I had a whole lot of them. So I haven't had to make any. I haven't had to make it again yet because we still have some in our freezer. Because it'll last a while. So I'm thinking, I can see myself doing it maybe twice a year, unless people, maybe I start freezing some and giving it away. But yeah, a slab of bacon will last us quite a while because
Yeah.
it's just myself, Jeannine, and our daughter.
Right.
That's
But we
it.
have a little get together coming up where I can see bacon making its way into the picture. So hopefully you can help us with that. So Rick is saying, I guess he used to live in SoCal and he could get a certain type of oak. And now that he's moved to Texas, he can't get it at all, which
Hmm.
I think is kind of frustrating, honestly.
Yeah, apparently there are different types of oaks. So
Yeah.
there's red oak. I think there's white oak. I'm a little surprised because I thought both were plentiful in Texas, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But what I understand though, I think their flavor, profile is pretty similar.
Okay.
Um,
So you're not losing anything?
but I don't know. Like when we buy oak here in
We
California,
don't know what
I
kind
don't
it
know.
is.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. If it's
Mm-mm.
white oak, I think
Nope.
it's white oak, but it just they just tell us it's oak.
Absolutely. Ooh. Oh, he wants to. Steinberg, he wants to use his Kamado to grill Indian food. I'm like, I'm all over that. I think that would really work.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bruce. Personally, I'm a big fan of curry.
But does it accommodate? He's asking, does it accommodate skewers? So does the Kamado grill accommodate skewers? I've seen some of those accessories. Is that not? Is that a skewer? Some of the things that you've put onto the grill.
Well, yeah, I mean you can buy skewers. I mean, definitely they're like we have some pretty long metal
Yeah,
skewers.
I've seen that.
Um, Trying to follow the question though. So, or can I get away with using my
Kamado.
Kamado grill that can accommodate the long skewers?
Well, because isn't it like I think he's trying to ask, is it does it function like an oven, or does he have to get the specific clay oven that's usually used with Indian food?
Yeah, no, I think he can do that with his Kamado.
I think so too.
Um, I mean, obviously, usually when you're using the skewers, you're cooking at a high temperature, so you're probably gonna have your Kamado open for the most part. But like if you get the long metal skewers, that'll make it easier to, flip the meat over to the other side.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you could do that with the Kamado.
Yeah.
Let's see, Rick. Rick says they have post oak and white oak in Texas.
Huh.
Yeah, see, like I wouldn't know, like I wouldn't be able to look at it and,
Right.
and know the difference between them or anything. And yeah, for us, oak is just oak. I'm just curious, is there a difference for you guys like in Texas? Is there a noticeable difference between post oak, white oak, and red oak?
Yeah. I'd like to know what the flavor. You think the profile's the same, but I kind of am curious to know if there is a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know that. Well, I guess one other thing I kind of want to know is I see you, prepping and preparing for these really big cooks that can take, 10 hours long. And I kind of want to know what goes through your head as you're preparing for something that's going to take a long time.
Hmm. I think it's just planning, which I think is one of the things. Well, there are a lot of things that I really did that attracted me to barbecue once I started to get serious about it. And one of them is the fact that um, you absolutely have to plan in advance.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard if you just
You can't
excuse
wing
me.
it, right?
Yeah, if you just
Yeah.
wake up
Yeah.
you just wake up in the morning and think, okay, I'm gonna, go out here and smoke this brisket, without having without planning. And especially if you really want to take advantage or utilize the advantages that a good brine will give you, then you usually should probably brine something overnight. Where you start the day before you actually start cooking. So yeah, I'm thinking about what I want to cook. A few days in advance. Um, I mean, even from the point that I decide to take something out of the freezer and start to defrost it, thaw it out, I start thinking about how I'm going to cook it. What do I need? Do I have everything that I need to get it the way that I want? So, yeah, I think you definitely have to plan in advance.
Well, and I also was surprised at how much meat like he goes through, like either in a cook or in preparation for a cook or even just sourcing meat. Like when COVID hit and it was all crazy, I was so appreciative because he had all these hookups with all these different, places to get fresh meat. And now it's kind of like, okay, COVID's a little bit over, but I still have like we have three freezers, and they have different functions. So I was sort of surprised as how much time it takes to actually think about what you're going to really, cook, how long it's going to take. I look at all of the rubs and the seasonings that you have, and it really is like it's a labor of love, and I admire you because you do it and you do it all the time, whereas I'm sort of a little bit hit or miss, or I come in and I taste, which I love to do, but I mean you're out there in inclement weather, and it can be cold, it can be super hot here, in Clayton, and you're out there just battling it and making sure it's the right temperature. So I think I appreciate all the different, backyard smoke masters, but I do appreciate you because you are out there, and you bring it in, and usually 9 times out of 10, it's pretty doggone good.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's just like the comment here from My Name is Irrelevant Barbecue,
Yeah.
you know, is equal to greater than
Yeah.
hope and
And
hope and
anxiety.
anxiety.
I think so.
But yeah, no, it
It's a
is
labor of love.
it is a labor of love.
Yeah.
Because I think, I mean, usually you're not just cooking for yourself. You
Yeah.
usually are cooking for, either a group of friends or
Yeah.
your family, or maybe it's a church.
Yeah. We
Um,
cook a lot for my church, which
yeah.
they appreciate a lot,
So and the reward is that people are happy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So it's definitely is a labor of love, and like I said, I enjoy the process. It is a process, and when you get it, pretty close to what you imagine and what you hope for, it is pretty gratifying.
So I have a question because I have disrespected the golden rule before of letting things rest. Because sometimes I'm just hungry. And I guess I want to know, how important is it to let the meat rest?
It's very important, um, because what's happening when you do let the meat rest is that all that juice inside of the meat is settling down.
Yeah.
you know, um, and that's what makes it when you take that bite of a good piece of meat, and that juice, that juice hits your taste buds. It's because the meat has been allowed to properly rest.
Okay.
So yeah, that is important.
So I will not break that rule again.
Yeah,
But I
we'll
will.
see.
I was very hungry. I have to admit that.
So real quick, Rick said red oak is a little heartier, heavier smoke, and post oak is lighter,
Okay.
almost like hickory.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah,
I
well,
think you should
that's
try
good
to
to know.
find it.
Wow, that's yeah. Like I said, the places that I've been able to source wood from, they just
Yeah.
call it oak. I mean, maybe I have to start asking them. Maybe they can. If I ask, maybe they
They
can tell
won't
me.
know, though. I don't
What
think they
type it
will.
is. Yeah, I don't think they know either.
No, I just
I
don't.
almost feel like we would have to go to Texas to be able to get a specific, one of these specific types of oak.
And don't think he won't do it. My sister lives in Texas now. He will
Well,
drive there.
yeah, when we will be going to Texas, And there are a lot of barbecue joints in Texas that I need to see and experience for myself.
Very true.
Not just Franklin's, but I understand there are some great barbecue places in Central Texas, Southern Texas, even Western Texas, all over Texas, So
I want to try that. So you have a question about rubs.
Okay. All right, so this is from Bruce.
Yeah, it looks like it says the shelf life seems to turn most rubs into kind of pure salt over time, and he didn't know, he doesn't want to over salt his meats. So, have you had that experience before?
Well, I have had the experience where the rubs, they will start to clump up,
Yeah.
Inside of the container.
Yeah.
My advice would just be to, give it a taste.
Yeah.
See if it still tastes right. If it just tastes like salt and, it just doesn't taste the way it should, you're just going to have to toss it.
Yeah. But I think I'm more salt sensitive than you are because I'm always like, oh, it's a little salty. That might be a little salty. So, maybe I do feel like some rubs, like salt is like practically the number one ingredient. And I think that isn't as good. Right? I mean, I think you want more flavor other than just salt.
Yeah, I think with most rubs, probably the common denominator between all of them is they're gonna have salt, and that's gonna be either the first or second ingredient, and then they're also gonna have sugar, brown sugar.
Yeah.
Those are usually seem to be like, up at the top three of the list of ingredients. Yeah. So I think it is important to, taste that rub first before you apply it to the meat, and that'll give you a sense of how heavy, how light you should go, with the rub for sure.
My dad was old school, and he just made his rub. He never bought a store-bought rub. Never. In fact, and he would set out all of the different ingredients and then make me like put them in the right order, but that was what he liked to do. He would refuse to go out and buy, go to Ace Hardware or whatever to get rubs. That he had his rub that he liked, and he didn't deviate.
Well, definitely, you can absolutely do that, and actually, would encourage and recommend that folks do that.
Yeah.
You get your.
It was like a signature rub.
Yeah, you get your different rubs together, or spices together, I should say. Mix them together, until you figure out what really works well for you.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe there'll be a backyard SmokeMaster line of rubs in the future.
I hope so.
It's something the wheels are turning. So that might happen. But absolutely, anyone can make their own rub. You definitely don't have to be beholden to store bought rubs.
Oh no, it's almost 3:00 somewhere. Oh, Angel makes her own rubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Oh, okay. My name is irrelevant. This must be one of my friends are you one of my friends in the Philippines?
Oh, okay. Because I was like 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
Wow, nice, though. Thank you for joining.
Absolutely. Appreciate that.
So I want to talk about a subject that I'm not sure I'm ready to talk about, but I think you probably will love to talk about, which is summer's coming up, and kind of want to have an idea. Are you going to cook this whole hog that you've been talking about, or are you still sort of feeling it out, or what is it too much of a challenge? What's going on?
So, on my bucket list, I have long been wanting to smoke a pig, even if it's a little small
Suckling.
baby pig, suckling pig.
Yeah.
But Jeannine's reaction has always been with so much apprehension that I have not tried that yet.
Well, I feel like if you have a pig, you need to have a party. And so it's been really challenging to kind of have a party these days, with COVID. So but I'm thinking summer's coming up, so it might be time to consider. But yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think they call them like a I don't know, a pig. Is it a pig picking party? I'm
Yeah,
not
a
sure.
picking party.
Picking party.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I would like to. I need to practice
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
to, invite a bunch
Mm-mm.
of people over and screw it up.
And it's an
So
epic fail.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
definitely would need to.
Okay, so we have to have a trial pig?
I mean, if
All
you are
right.
committed and willing to let me do it without a lot of strife,
Okay.
yeah, we would need to do that.
But which equipment would you use for that one?
I would have to use my stick burner.
Oh,
I
okay.
think the LSG is big enough to handle a suckling pig for sure.
So Rick's asking, are you a fan of pellet smokers? And it sounds to me like you are a fan, but only for certain things. Does that sound right?
Oh, I'm a fan of pellet
Okay,
smokers.
you are.
Honestly, I'm a fan of pretty much every
Yeah, me
type
too.
of smoker
Yeah.
except for I'm no longer really a fan of gas grills.
And I don't think
Um,
you really like that barrel. We had like a couple of barrel smokers, like, and I feel like you haven't used those in forever.
no, no, I no, I'm a big fan of the drum smokers. Um, but they every type of smoker has its place.
Yeah.
I think pellet smokers are great for convenience. Like if you've worked all day, you don't have a whole lot of time for dinner, but you do want to do something outdoors. Pellet smoker is great for that because
Yeah.
you can get it set up and up to temperature really fast. You can set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Or you can, you might want to smoke a large cut of meat overnight and not have to worry about it. You set it up, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and you've got brisket,
Yeah. You've done that a
or
couple times.
a pork butt or something.
Yeah.
So pellet smokers are great for that. Um, the disadvantage to pellet smokers is that the smoke flavor that you get from them is just going to
Okay.
be really mild,
Yeah.
really light. Even the greatest pellet smoker on the planet is not going to compare with the smoky flavor that you're going to get off of a stick burner, and I would argue even off of a charcoal based cooker like the Weber Summit Kamado, or a drum smoker
So
like a
if you're going,
pit barrel
so if you're
cooker.
going for the smoke flavor and the smoke ring, maybe not the pellet smoker.
I'm sorry, you said
So
if.
if you're going for more of a smoke flavor and a smoke ring, then you might not be using the pellet for that.
Well, just again, the smoke flavor is going to be milder.
Okay.
But you can get a smoke flavor with a pellet smoker, and you can also get a smoke ring with a
Oh,
pellet
okay.
smoker.
Okay.
Now, a smoke ring it's really just for appearance. You can have great food that doesn't have a deep, smoke ring. I think that's really more of a like a
Like
pit
competition.
master. Yeah, it's kind of a pit master ego thing. I mean, we all love to cut into our meat and see a nice smoke
Yes.
ring, but I don't think it really affects the taste
Oh, and I think
too much.
Rick agrees with us. But you know what? But it's interesting. So we got a little guidance on the cost of the whole hog versus the young ones, and so I'm hearing that the whole hog is cheaper. Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Full size hogs are much cheaper compared to a very young pig.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know,
I didn't.
huh?
I mean, I don't know. I have looked into the suckling pigs. I
Uh-huh.
haven't looked into a full size hog, so
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know. But
know.
that's interesting.
Yeah, we got a little advice to go to, I guess, Malcolm Reed's videos on suckling pigs. I think you've seen a couple of
Yeah,
those,
I've,
which
I've,
got him excited.
that's probably what inspired me to begin
Oh, I
with
know
was
it
was
was.
watching Malcolm's videos, doing. I can remember
Yeah.
them doing a whole hog. Um, that just looked great. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Maybe this year is the year. We'll have to see.
Maybe so.
You know, you haven't talked about barbecue sauce, and I'm kind of surprised. I thought maybe somebody would have brought it up, and so I'm kind of interested as to, is there a sauce that you're still liking these days? I mean, you've tried so many, but I feel like there's probably one or two that you really still like.
Yeah, two come to mind. My favorite barbecue sauces are more on the sweet side.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like Blues Hog. They have like an original flavored barbecue sauce. That's probably the one that I get the most.
Yeah, I think so.
And then one that also tastes pretty similar is Malcolm Reed's Killer Hogs the barbecue sauce. They're pretty similar in taste. I think those are
Oh,
my two favorites. And just like the rubs, you can make your own barbecue sauce as well.
absolutely.
I mean, they basically, they all have ketchup and brown sugar in
Mm-hmm.
common,
Yeah,
and then what differentiates them is, the other spices that get added to them.
very true. So we've got so a little bit of guidance. It's once we get a couple of pig cooks under our belt, will we be willing to try like an open pit? And I'm thinking, I don't know where we would put that in our backyard. I don't think it's legal in California, at least where we live.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how our neighbors would feel
Yeah,
about something like that. We'd probably have to, figure out some
yeah,
place we could go to do something like that. But I mean that I think that would be awesome,
yeah.
to be able to do it, yeah, Rodney Scott style, the
Is
whole
that the guy with the flamethrower
uh
who lights the fires with the flamethrower, or is that somebody else?
no.
Okay,
No.
got it. All right.
No, Rodney Scott is I think he's based out of South Carolina.
Okay.
Um
Is he the James Beard guy?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, he
got
was the,
it,
the
got it, got
James
it.
Beard
Award
award
winner.
winner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he's no joke.
yeah, yeah,
You got some big shoes to try to fill.
yeah. No, but he's got a few restaurants
It's awesome.
in South Carolina. I
Yeah.
understand there's one I think in the Atlanta
Yeah,
area.
for sure.
So definitely, if I have a chance, um, to be near one of his restaurants, I definitely want to try Rodney Scott's as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So it's a little after 7.
Yeah, we have been at it. Time has really flown by
Flew
for
by.
about an hour here,
Absolutely.
almost an hour. So, I really do
Yeah.
appreciate, you guys tuning in, even if it was just for a few minutes on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Just trying something out here. What I would like to do is I'm imagining doing more podcasts, maybe even a weekly podcast, doing it live. I am interested in having other guests
Yeah.
as well. So if you guys know of someone or have a connection to, someone who's, really into barbecue, I would love to chat it up with
Yeah.
them. Drop me a line. Definitely appreciate all of the comments and the feedback from you guys. Really trying to level up and just get a lot more barbecue video content out
Yeah.
this year. I've just got a lot of exciting things in mind. So keep checking out the channel. Look for more stuff. Again, thank you, Jeannine, for joining me. I hope it was fun for
Yeah,
you.
actually, it was kind of fun. I have to let you know that I did enjoy chatting with you.
Great, great. So we're going to sign off. Thanks again, guys. Get out there, enjoy your barbecue grills and smokers, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good night.